welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin and I am so excited that you decided to take time out of your day to spend with me, because today we are talking about my March video plans and the books that I plan to read in reading vlogs, or my March TBR. So for March, I have a couple of projects planned, continuing projects that I've done before, and then of course we just have, a little bit of mood reading to throw in just in case. So yeah, to keep this intro from being too long, let's just go ahead and hop in and talk about all the things. So for the month of March, I plan on doing another video where I am reading my NetGalley arcs to get my score up. And so I'll be reading a handful of 2025 releases just to make sure I'm reading arcs before they come out, and also to improve my very sad NetGalley score. So let's talk about some of the books that could possibly be in this reading vlog. We have the Ephemera Collector by Stacy Nathaniel Jackson, and this is an Afrofuturistic debut, a sci-fi novel where we follow an archivist who finds herself the target of a violent plot and must rely on the help of her AI assistive technologies. And I'm really interested to see what I think about this. I have been talking about wanting to read more sci-fi and get into it because I think I like it. I do like sci-fi TV shows, but I haven't figured out what my taste is in sci-fi books. So I'm hoping that this will be a good way for me to kind of figure that out and inspire Black authors. So really excited to try this one and see what I think about it. We have A Circle of Uncommon Witches, and this is by Paige Crutcher. It says a witch generationally cursed to never find true love sets out to break the spell cast on her family and must team up with the last person who wants to help her, the witch who set the curse in the first place. This is a story of adventure, romance, and destiny that asks, is true love worth the cost? So I love a witchy story, and this is a romantasy, so it sounds like it'll be up my alley, but we'll have to read it and see. This one actually comes out on February 25th, so I will be behind on reading it, but not too far off from the release date. There's Homegrown Magic, and this is by Jamie Pacton and Rebecca Podos. It's a delightfully queer romantic fantasy full of friends to lovers chemistry, found family, rival family drama, and cozy garden magic from two acclaimed YA authors making their debut in the adult space. So that should be interesting to see how they go over to the adult space. I have not read from either of these authors before, so I can't tell you what their YA work is like, but this sounds like it's going to be very cottagecore, very cute, and I'm here for it. One that I have mentioned a couple times and just still haven't gotten around to and now it is releasing, and that is what I'm trying to not do going forward, but we do what I can, and that is Spells, Strings, and Forgotten Things by Breanne Randall. And this is about a young witch cursed with sacrificing memories to cast spells who must decide how much she's willing to lose to save her town in this thrilling tale of magic, love, and self-discovery. And I really liked Breanne Randall's other release, so I'm excited to see what she can do. Another witchy story, and I think this one is actually going to be a series, so yeah, interested to see how that's going to work out. I think interested to see is going to be my first for this video, so if you're already sick of it, sorry, not sorry. And the last e-arc that I think I'm considering reading for March is going to be Only Because It's You, and this is by Rebecca, is it Fisseha? I'm not sure. But this is a charming and touching romantic comedy about two best friends, a marriage of convenience, and taking a leap of faith to land exactly where you're meant to be. And this sounds really cute. I love A Marriage of Convenience. It's kind of the sister cousin to fake dating, so I think that this is something that I will really enjoy, and it'll be cute. So we'll see. I'm usually not a friends to lovers person, but there are some that I have really loved. So who knows? We'll see. The next video that I plan on doing is a continuing series video. I am going to be doing these as often as I possibly can for 2025 because I really do want to make it through some of these series, especially the ones that are like finished. Because look, it feels like every book that comes out is a series. So I need to make it through the ones that are already done and the ones that are already started and I can finish, so I don't feel so overwhelmed when I start a new book. Because you have to store series information in your head, and it's getting a little rough out here. And I'm also very much trying to not have to reread books. So I'm trying to be very strategic and freeing up some mental space so I can hold space for other books that are coming out and also not have to reread. So the first one should come as no surprise to anyone because I have not shut up about the first book in this series since I started my YouTube channel, and that is Cursebound by Saara El-Arifi. This is the second book in the Feybound series, and I'm terrified. I am very much terrified, very much anxious, very much excited, all the things and feelings surrounding this book, because what if it's not as good as the first one? That's just gonna break my heart. It's gonna break my heart for real. And like, also, I'm very anxious for the characters, where we left off, what's gonna happen in this book. The synopsis tells us nothing about what's gonna happen. So oh, it's the Feybound trilogy. Oh my god, I didn't know that. Okay, so yes, I am super, super excited to jump into this. I thought I was going to read it as soon as it showed up on my doorstep, but let's just say February reading came to a halt for me for a minute, and I ended up unintentionally taking like a week hiatus from YouTube, and yeah. So anyway, Cursebound will probably be one of the first books that I pick up in March. And in this, we're following two elven sisters who stumble upon the Fey lands, and they did not know that Fey even existed. So that kind of changes everything for them. And they also find out, not just about the history of the world, but some secrets about themselves as well. So yeah. Also plan on picking up Drown Me with Dreams by Gabi Burton. This is the second book in the Sing Me to Sleep series. I think that's actually what the name is. And this is a YA fantasy with a little bit of romance. I'm going to say that. And I read Sing Me to Sleep in February. So I just want to go ahead and knock out this duology. I have it. Why not just go ahead and finish it and not even drag it out? And in this, we're following Saoirse, who is a siren, but sirens are killed off in this world, so she's not even supposed to be here. And she goes to work for the Prince Hayes, and they end up going on this hunt for this murderer, but the murderer is actually Saoirse. So yeah, fun time. The next sequel that I plan to pick up is Harrow the Ninth, and this is the second book in the Locked Tomb series, starting off with Gideon the Ninth. And I read Gideon, it was either November or December. So look, I need to go ahead and continue the series because I don't see myself you know what, I'm not gonna reread Gideon anytime soon. Like, it took me long enough to read it the first time. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go ahead and continue before I start forgetting things, because like, this book is also kind of massive, kind of big, right? Let me see how many pages. 500-ish pages. So yeah, I need to see what happens. And I liked the way that we left off. It was, I just need to know what's going on with our characters in Gideon the Ninth. I don't know how I'm going to explain this to you, but it's a sci-fi book. We have lesbian necromancers, and yeah, I'm gonna just leave it at that. Because what I'm not gonna do is butcher trying to tell you what Gideon the Ninth is about, but I also really don't want to just go and read out the synopsis to you. So yeah, look it up if you're interested. But I plan on tackling this chonker in March. This next book I have very similar feelings about as I do Harrow the Ninth, and that is The Obelisk Gate by N.K. Jemisin. This is the second book in the Broken Earth trilogy. It started off with the fifth season, and I just read the fifth season in January, so I gave myself a little mental break for February, but March we gotta lock back in because I don't want to lose any other information. Everything is very fresh. I am anxious to see what's gonna happen with these characters. I gotta know. So I definitely plan on picking this up. It's high up on my priorities for March, and this is also like a sci-fi fantasy series. Do your research if it sounds interesting, but yes. Now, this series I just kind of dumped. And I didn't mean to, but I was using the books in this series as palette cleansers, but then I started using other books as palette cleansers and I just kind of forgot about it. But I think it's time for me to pick it up and I need to finish it. And that is A Kingdom of Venom and Vows. This is the third book in the Stars and Shadows series that starts with A Kingdom of Stars and Shadows, and it's by Holly Renee. This is a series of romantasy books where we're following a main character who is supposed to marry this prince to give more power to, I think, the Fae or somebody. To give more power to a certain group of people, but once she gets there, she realizes like he's an awful person, and she ends up falling for his brother. But his brother has secrets of his own as well, and there's like shadow magic and some really interesting things happening with books in the first book. So yeah, this is just a fun time. Holly Renee can write a cocky male love interest that I really enjoy. Like her male love interest, like kind of do it for me, you know. So yeah, these are just fun. But I realized I haven't read in this series from this series in like months, and I am already like feeling like I don't know what's gonna happen or what's going on. Of course, I don't know what's going to happen. So before that knowledge completely leaves me, I'm going to go ahead and read this third book because I think there's four. Also, I saw that these have gotten like picked up and they're being traditionally published. So I want to finish the series to see if it's something that I want to buy or not. So yeah, we'll see what happens. We also have The Dating Countdown, which is the final book in the Island Bites series by Angie Peltier. And I ended up reading the second book in February. So I'm like, why prolong this? Why not just knock out this third book and be done with the series? That's what I'm trying to do. So in this one, we'll be following Remy and Maxine. This is a sapphic romance where they'll be going on 10 friend dates to try to see if they can have a relationship outside of their sexual feelings for each other, and they keep having to reset these friend dates because they keep not keeping it friendly. And so I'm really interested to see how this goes. I think it's going to be really cute, really spicy, really fun, and I think I'm going to be room for the couple. And I'm also ready to complete this series. It's been a fun time. Then we have Fury Song by Rosaria Munda, and this is the final book in the Aurelian Cycle series. And that series started off with Fireborn, and I finally finished Flamefall, so I just want to go ahead and knock out the last book in the series before I have to reread. And in this one, we are following Lee and Annie, and they are training at this dragon academy to become the leader of the dragon fleet. And so yeah, there's also a rebellion in this as well, and a lot of other components. It's a YA fantasy, but it's very political, very much. I hate using this comparison, but it very strongly connects to the Hunger Games and the worlds of politics, not the actual games. There are no games in this, so don't say that I said that because I didn't. I'm saying in the political nature and the teenagers trying to change how things have always been. That's what I'm trying to say. So don't tell nobody I told you it was games in this because I didn't. And yeah, this is really great. It is a little heavy at times, which is why it's taking me so long to get through it, because it gets sad and you just feel so much for these people. But It's really good. And then just some random books that are higher up on my priority list of reads. There is Let the Games Begin, and this is by Rufaro Faith Mazarura. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. And this is a sports romance of sorts set against a sizzling hot Greek summer filled with sunshine and Souvlaki. Am I saying that right? I don't know. About two strangers at the top of their game. So yeah, this takes place at the Olympics in Greece. So I think this is going to be kind of new-ish for me. I'm not really a sports romance type of person, but I do, dabble in them and we'll pick them up. So we'll see what I think about this one. And I have a hold for this book at the library, and I think it's going to be available soon. I'm hoping so anyway. And that is Fear the Flames by Olivia Rose Darling. And I've heard so many good things about the indie version of this book, but when it was traditionally published, people have had, differing opinions on the re-release. So I'm going to read it from the library first before I decide to buy it. It's an immersive fantasy filled with a sizzling reluctant allies to lovers, a world to get lost in, dangerous quest, dragon bonds, and an entertaining band of characters to root for. And we follow an exiled princess who teams up with the last man she thought she could trust in the start of a dazzling and unforgettable epic fantasy romance series. So I think it was safe for me to just try it from the library, see what I think, and then if I like it, I'll, buy it and continue the series. But I do love dragons, so I could not try it. And we have another fantasy. I think this is YA, but I'm not sure at all. And that is The Wild Huntress by Emily Lloyd-Jones. And I've been looking at this and thinking about reading it ever since I got it from Book of the Month back in October, and it just hasn't happened yet. But I think now is the time to finally pick it up. In this, we have a trickster, a prince, and a wild huntress. If they band together against the monstrous creatures within the woods, they have a chance to win, but nothing is guaranteed, for all are fair game in love and the hunt. Every 5 years, two kingdoms take part in a wild hunt. Joining is a bloody risk, and even the best hunters can suffer the most gruesome fates. Still, hundreds gamble their lives to participate, all vying for the hunt's life-changing prize, a magical wish granted by the other king. And I love games, I love trials in books, so I really think that I'm going to eat this up. At least I hope so, anyway. And finally, we have one that I am a little skeptical about, but I hope I love it because it has one of the most beautiful covers I've ever seen on a book. And so I'm hoping that I like it. It's just been sitting on my shelves for years because I have been scared that I'm gonna not like it and I won't be able to keep this cover, but it's time. It's time. And that is Weyward by Emilia Hart. This book has, like I said, one of the most beautiful covers I've ever seen. It made its rounds when it came out in, I think, 2022 or 2023. One of those. But yeah, it's time for me to finally see what it's going to do for me. And in this one, we're following 3 different timelines. We follow 3 extraordinary women across 5 centuries, and it's a novel of female resistance. It's a little witchy, and I think it's going to give off some cottagecore vibes as well. I do understand that there is a woman in here that is or was in an abusive relationship as well, so make sure that you look up the content and trigger warnings before you dive into this. But yeah, I think it's going to give me a good mix of literary, fantasy, witchy, historical. So we'll see what I think of it. I really do hope I like it because I want to be able to keep this on my shelves, but we'll have to read it to find that out. And those are all of the books on my hopefuls list for March, as well as my plans for reading vlogs. So let's go ahead and set up my March journal spread. And yeah. for us friends. Thank you so much for staying until the end of this video. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing. Anything that you do to support me and my channel is very much greatly appreciated. And if you would like to keep up with me any further, I have links to socials and things down in the description box. I hope you have the best day that you possibly can. Remember to take care of yourself, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.